And of course, as we all know, the federal government has the right to regulate and enforce interstate commerce rules, and if criminal activity falls across interstate lines, that falls within the exclusive jurisdiction of the federal government. That doesn't mean that each individual state doesn't have the right to prosecute that criminal activity within the bounds of its state, but the activity that crosses over state lines, that meth ring that we were talking about that's selling, manufacturing in one county in North Texas and selling to the DFW Metroplex, well, if they're also selling to the Oklahoma City Metroplex, well, that then would be an example of how that interstate commerce would be regulated and prosecuted by the United States government. Now, we all know that states have the right to regulate and police themselves. It's often referred to as the police powers of the sovereign states of the United States of America. So those police powers are pretty broad and sweeping. For example, the decriminalization of marijuana in many states, Colorado, Texas to some degree, other states, where they've reduced personal consumption to fine-only offenses, etc. But still, under federal law, it's considered a controlled substance, and therefore you cross into Alabama, cross into Mississippi, you could then trigger penalties under a federal law or violate those individual states' laws, because once you leave the sovereignty of your own state borders, that state's police powers are then in control. And it's what they say, it's the voters of that state and their elected officials that control how possession of 2 ounces of marijuana would be prosecuted, whether they're going to be lenient on it, like some communities in Texas, or they're going to be very fierce advocates for the no tolerance. Obviously those state crimes include more than that drug ring example I gave you. They include protections against abuse, homicide, enforcement of drunk driving laws, any number of those things. And those are all within the state's sovereign police powers to regulate and enforce, and they do, as we are all aware.